Welcome back to the Creating Resilience video series. This is the 10th video in the series. Today, we are going to move away from the caregiver reflection and regulation route and move on to the attunement route in the caring and connected communities part of our collective well-being tree. Attunement is really all about being connected and with the same energy flow and understanding with the people around us. Think about when you hear a band or an orchestra play, and they are all in the same rhythm and beat, and they all are harmonizing and working together. But if one person goes out of sync, it's quite obvious. So attunement is about syncing our energy and our thoughts and our understanding with other people. We're going to start by watching a video that was created several years ago, and it's called the Still Face Experiment. I think it's one of the most important videos out there, and I think that every parent, expectant parent, should have to watch this video, and you'll understand why after you see it. But what it really shows is at a very young age, we are very connected and attuned to each other. And the way in which we interact is really important for brain formation, as we've talked about in the past. So we'll watch this video, and then I'll talk to you about it a little bit more.
Babies this young are extremely responsive to the emotions and the reactivity and the social interaction that they get from the world around them. This is something that we started studying 30, 40 years ago, when people didn't think that infants could engage in social interaction. In the still face experiment, what the mother did was she sits down and she's playing with her baby, who's about a year of age.
I'm like a girl. Oh.
And she gives a greeting to the baby gives a greeting back to her.
Yeah.
This baby starts pointing at different places in the world, and the mother's trying to engage her and play with her. They're working to coordinate their emotions and their intentions, what they want to do in the world. And that's really what the baby is used to. And then we ask the mother to not respond to the baby. The baby very quickly picks up on this, and then she uses all of her abilities to try and get the mother back. She smiles at the mother. She points because she's used to the mother looking where she points. The baby puts both hands up in front of her and says, "What's happening here?" She makes that screechy sound at the mother, like, "Come on, why aren't we doing this?" Even in this 2 minutes, when they don't get the normal reaction, they react with negative emotions, they turn away, they feel the stress of it, they actually may lose control of their posture because of the stress that they're experiencing.
Okay. I'm here. And what are you doing? Oh, yes. Oh, what a big girl.
It's a little like the good, the bad, and the ugly. The good is that normal stuff that goes on, that we all do with our kids. The bad is when something bad happens, but the infant can overcome it. After all, when you stop the still face, the mother and the baby start to play again. The ugly is when you don't give the child any chance to get back to the good. There's no reparation, and they're stuck in that really ugly situation.
So you can tell from that video how that baby and that mother were so in sync. And when the mother suddenly wasn't in sync, it completely threw that baby's regulation off. So I want you to think about how sometimes parents are not intentionally doing the still face, but they are not reflecting back emotion or energy to the children or the people, the adults around them either. One of the biggest factors with this, I think, in modern society is the cell phone. I know when I go to parks with my grandchildren or some friends' kids, it's very frustrating to me to see children come up to talk to their parents, and their parents are on their phone, never take their eyes off their phone and talk to their child who really wants some eye contact and some exchange of energy and information. It also happens in homes where the parent maybe is abusing some sort of substance, or perhaps they have some mental illness such as depression or anxiety, or it might be just that you really have a lot of stress in your life right then, and you're not stopping and really connecting with the person next to you. So attunement is where we really do learn how to interact with people so they know that they are seen and they are heard. Attunement is being able to accurately read each other's cues so that we can respond to the emotion or the need that's beneath the behavior rather than react to the behavior itself. These are some steps that we can take to really make sure that the people we're with, we are attuning to them. And it's all about making sure that maybe they need safety, maybe they need connection, or maybe they just need us to talk and to find some meaning. So attunement with the strategy I'm going to teach you has 4 steps. And the first step is just to notice. It's to notice what we just talked about in caregiver reflection and regulation. Notice what's going on with you. As you are with that person, where's your energy level and your emotional level? What are you saying to yourself? Are you getting tense? Are you moving towards your back seat? If you are, can you take a deep breath or do some sort of stretch or something that puts you back in that front seat? And you also want to notice what's happening with that person. What cues are they giving you that they might be in their back seat or their trunk? This is a very quick step, but it's a really vital step because if you're going to attune with someone, you really do want to be in your front seat and you want to know what's going on and try to guess at what's happening with them. The second step is naming. And you want to name 2 things, especially if you do this with children. You want to name the behavior that you see, and you want to name the emotion or the need that you think you see. For example, if a child throws a backpack down on the floor, you might say, "Wow, I saw you throw your backpack on the floor. I'm wondering if you're frustrated right now." They will come back, trust me, if you are incorrect, and they will fix that for you. They will tell you, "I am not frustrated. I'm super excited about what's ready to happen." Whether they're 2 years old or whether they're 45 or 50 years old, they will correct you if you guess the wrong emotion, so don't worry about that. It's also really important, especially with children, to name both the behavior and the emotion because you're actually teaching them at that moment that when people do this, it's often associated with this emotion. It also can really help them understand that you do see and you do understand. So, for example, when I taught attunement to a group within a school system, a counselor came back to me a few days later and said that attunement really worked. I was in the cafeteria. There was a young girl who is usually sitting with a table full of friends and laughing and having a great time at lunch. She was sitting alone. She had her head down. She wasn't eating. And several adults had come by and said, "Are you okay?" And she said, "I'm fine." Well, I went over and I said, "Wow, I noticed that you're sitting alone and your head's kind of droopy and you're not eating. I'm wondering if you're feeling really lonely or upset right now." And the little girl looked up at me and said, "Yes, I'm really lonely right now. My friends didn't have room for me at their table." She was heard and understood and was seen by an adult. And by naming the behavior and the emotion, that really helped. So the next step that you would take is you wouldn't fix it. We want to fix it, right? We want to say, "Well, let's go talk to your friends or let's get a friend to sit with you." We want to fix it. But if you're really trying to strengthen the relationship, what you're going to pause and do, and this is why you have to be in the thinking part of your brain, You want to pause and you want to validate that emotion. You want to say to that person, well, you know what? It's okay to feel lonely sometimes, or it really is lonely when there's not room for you at the table. And the last sentence stem in these ideas is it makes sense that. If none of the other sentence stems work, it's always possible to say, it makes sense that you feel lonely, or it makes sense that you feel angry. And here's the trick. It might not make sense to you, but it very much might make sense to that other person. So that's a great sentence stem to use. And again, you don't want to jump to fixing it. You really do want to pause and make sure you validate that emotion, because that really creates connection and strengthens the relationship. So then the fourth step still isn't fixing it. The fourth step is connecting with them or regulating with them. So you might simply say something like, well, I'm here for you, or I'm listening. Is there something I can help you with? It might be if you've already regulated with that person before sometime, you might ask them, do you want to take a breath with me? Or would you like to go take a walk? Do you need a hug or a high five? Anything like that. The important thing about attunement is you actually go through the 4 steps, and you can do it with positive emotions too, to really build up connection and strengthen relationships. So it's great to look at somebody that just comes in and they're dancing and swinging. You're like, why are you dancing and swinging? What are you so excited about? Oh, I'm excited about this. Oh my gosh, it makes sense. You're so excited about that. That's wonderful. Can I do a little dance with you? That's attunement just in its natural form. It's really very helpful. This is a wonderful and funny video that really explains attunement in a very naturalistic way. You're going to see a couple where she is not being attuned. He is just trying to fix it. And then he does attune with her, and watch her reaction. It's a wonderful, funny video.
It's just, there's all this pressure, you know? And sometimes it feels like it's right up on me, and I can just feel it, like literally feel it in my head, and it's relentless. And I don't know if it's going to stop. I mean, that's the thing that scares me the most, is that I don't know if it's ever going to stop.
Yeah. Well, you do have a nail in your head.
It is not about the nail.
Are you sure? Because, I mean, I'll bet if we got that out of there...
Stop trying to fix it.
No, I'm not trying to fix it. I'm just pointing out that maybe the nail is causing...
You always do this. You always try to fix things when what I really need is for you to just listen.
Yeah, see, I don't think that is what you need. I think what you need is to get the nail
See, you're
out.
not even listening now.
Okay, fine. I will listen. Fine.
It's just, sometimes it's like there's this achy, I don't know what it is. And I'm not sleeping very well at all. And all my sweaters are snagged. I mean, all of them.
Yeah, that sounds really hard.
It is. Thank you. Ow!
Oh, come on. If you would just...
Don't.
Try to see things my way, so I have to keep on talking till I can go on. We can work it out. We can work it out.
I love that video. I think it's so much fun and it makes so much sense to me. I don't know how many times I've talked to my husband or friends and I tell them things that are going on and they want to fix it. I just want you to hear me. I just want you to say that was a really hard day. So it makes a lot of sense. I love this quote from Vincent Galletti. He was one of the researchers for the adverse childhood experiences study we talked about earlier. And what he said was, as he told people about adversities, they wanted to know, what do we do to help? What are those preventative practices? And he said, you know what? Slowly, I've come to see that asking, listening, and accepting is a profound form of doing. So when you see somebody in their back seat and you want to do something about it, ask, listen, accept, and validate. And you're actually doing something about it. The reflection question for today is think about the last time you saw someone expressing a big emotion. Did you try to validate that emotion or did you try to fix something? And the action step is to try to name the behavior and the emotion of others and then validate their emotions at least once a day and notice if your relationship with that person is strengthened. I will tell you, after I've taught multiple groups of people about attunement, somebody will often come back and say, I tried that last night with my teenager or my child or my sister, and it really did work. When I validated their emotion, they stopped and came back and talked to me more. So give it a try. Thank you for watching this video. I will see you next time, and if you need more resources, check out creatingresilience.org.